Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. Brian Winnigan's on this Friday, so we wrap up our spotlight this week with Val-O-Mo Farms just outside of O'Galley. Thank you to Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin for supporting our monthly spotlights. And Ted Weinzierl joins us once again. And now we're going to talk about something a little different. Val-O-Mo Farms is really involved in a lot of civic groups here in the O'Galley area. And one of them is the Lake O'Galley Association. Be like a dairy farm, on a lake association, but they're not even on the lake. Ted, you're not even on the lake. Why are you part of it?
We are on the lake. We're right next door. Like we were talking earlier, we're just a half a mile away, but we do crop farm right adjacent to Lake O'Galley. And the lake is, I want to say they dammed that off in the 30s, I believe. Yeah, maybe even earlier than that. But the original depth of the lake was up to 30 feet deep, and it's over the years it's been gradually filling with sediment. And there's people have really noticed it as of late, and in an effort to do something about it. And in our research, we found out that before you can do anything, you need to have a lake association. And we all felt here at the farm that it would be good for all of us, or at least one of us, to be on the board or be member. And we are all members of the lake association, just because we are farming adjacent to the lake, and it's good to be a member of that and help try to improve the quality of the lake as much as we possibly can. So.
Being so close, I have to think that as a kid, you spent a lot of time at that lake. If your dad had let you go take some time off to go have some fun at the lake.
Oh yeah, he liked having fun down there as much as we did. And my grandpa, he had a house right down on the lake, and when it would get to be the heat of the summer, Dad would keep the boat down there tied right up to the dock, and we get the milking done at night. And I don't know if you've ever been water skiing, Brian, but if you go at 7 o'clock at night, it's perfect. It's smooth as glass, so it worked out good. You could go down there and just untie the boat and jump right in with your work shorts on if you wanted to, and you were skiing right after work. So
that's, again, this has special meaning for the farm and your family. It does make sense that you want to help out with this, and you've done a lot with that association.
We have. It's been a big time commitment. It's been fun though, at the same time, and part of the reason for me being on the board, or me wanting to run to be a delegate on the board, was to help educate people on what current farming practices are. There's a lot of residences on the lake. A lot of those are cabins. A lot of these people are not involved in agriculture. Many of them probably don't even have a good idea of what good agricultural practices are, but they probably do have an idea of what they might think is a bad agricultural practice. And I feel like as a dairy farmer, as just a farmer in general, we get kind of stuck into an ideal that's often not true. And it seems like a common misconception is that we just slop through things and get it done as easy and cheap as possible, but it's not the case. We're here to take care of the land, and not just the land, the animals and the lake next door. So it takes a lot to do that, and I'm proud to be a part of that, and I'm glad to educate people as much as I can on what we're doing as far as working with NRCS and land conservation. Land conservation is a big part of lakeshore preservation and erosion control, things like that. And I think our farm alone has 5 or 6 conservation dams along that watershed there.
You mentioned NRCS. You also bring to that board a lot of expertise and a lot of contacts that can help the association to find ways to improve that lake.
Yeah, you hit it on the head there. That's kind of my role there, is to make those connections between some of the board members that maybe have more time to work on that, I can get them in touch with the people that they need to be, because we work with these people annually on different projects, around the farm.
I'm sure it's easier for a board member to say, I'm with the Lake O'Galley Association. Ted Weinzerl gave me your name. Can you help me out? And they know exactly right away, not only you, of course, but where they're at, where the lake is at, and everything about what's going on around the lake.
Yeah, like I said, I can't say enough about land conservation and NRCS up there. They've been great to work with, and more than helpful. So.
And also, too, you're part of the Sportsman's Club, the farm is. Tell us about that. That's, again, kind of related to the lake, but outdoor activities. There's more than just water skiing at 7 o'clock at night in your work clothes after you got off the dairy, after you're done with milk. And there's a lot of other outdoor activities, too, that the Sportsman Club support and the farm wants to support.
Yeah, you bet. Around here, there's plentiful deer. Everybody likes to go hunting. Sportsmen's roll around O'Galley, people often ask me, why have a lake association and the Sportsman's Club? But to apply for a lot of the grants and work with the DNR on the lake specifically, you need to have either a lake district or lake association. On the other hand of that, there's a Sportsman's Club who handles, like, for example, Pineview Park down there. And another big project that they did years ago on the lake that helped a lot was the riprap around the lake, which is putting all that big limestone around there to hold back and retain the lake shore. And that was big for Lake O'Galley because it is a small lake and it has enough depth that people can use their sport cruisers down there and go down and do some water skiing and tubing. And it's just big enough you can have fun doing that, but it's small enough that it really gets churned up and those waves go up and pound on the shore and cause a bunch of sloughing and erosion and such. So that lake is 100% lined with riprap around to reinforce those banks. And that was a big project that Sportsman's took on, and they handled that, hauling that stuff in there on the ice and pushing it up on the shore. Big project for them to do. So they've done their part too down there.
Do you do any ice fishing on the lake, or do you avoid that?
Oh, no, we enjoy the ice fishing down there. There is some really good spots down there. I'm not going to tell you exactly where there are, but you can catch some big northern down there and bass in the wintertime. But yeah, once we get through the Lake Association's ice fishing contest and we get that behind us, then mid to late January, February, it's fun to get down there and set up the tip-ups on the weekends. So,
well, you got to take some time off from the dairy farm as well. But again, being involved, before we talked, you said, Brian, it's just the right thing to do. And I would think that your dad, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, your great-great-great-grandfather probably all would agree with that.
If you want to see change, you can't expect it to just happen. And if you want to, if you have concerns and take the lake and the Lake Association, for example. That ended up just being a few pontoons tied up in the middle and talking one weekend, and there might have been some beer involved. But people bring it up and they say, hey, gosh, it really looks weedy this weekend, or, it seems like the lake is getting really shallow. And it has been consistently. That's just kind of the natural thing. But to get something done with that, then you got to ask yourself, well, what has to happen? Well, it takes people to get involved and a group to be formed and people to be committed to do that. And Dad, he's been involved with it. My brother's involved with it. I am. And like you said, my grandpa, and great-grandpa and so on and so forth. That's just kind of the way it's been. So,
also to the farm, not recently, but a few years back, brought everybody for breakfast. And with all of the changes since the dairy breakfast, boy, you could almost host it again. I'm going to put that plug in there. But it was important for the farm to host the dairy breakfast, wasn't it?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, we did that, and it's been a while now. It's been since 2016, I think we did that. We volunteered for Dunn County to do that, and we set up a tent here in the yard and had everybody out. And boy, there's stories I could go on about that morning too. I think we had 2-inch rain or maybe even 3-inch rain that morning. It was a mess. But, by the time people started rolling in at 8 o'clock, the sun was shining and things were drying out already. It turned out to be a really nice day. But, yeah, that organization too is another great one that the farmer's been involved with, and that was fun to do as well. So,
And it was really a chance for you guys to show off some of the things you are doing. With that, everyone talks about sustainability. Sounds like you guys have been doing this since 1846.
not just us. That's just farming in general. That's how it works. You have to get the land to produce what you can get it to produce, and the animals to produce what they can produce. And if on tight margins, if you're not doing that, you're just going to be eliminated.
Again, a lot of special things happening here at Val-O-Mo Farms. Again, thank you to Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin for supporting our spotlight of Val-O-Mo Farms all this week here on WRDN.